There's currently a lot of different deals going on right now at Adorama, and of those deals, there's a deal on the 300 Pro and the 400 Pro. So I wanted to go over some of the differences between the two lights because a lot of you guys have asked me, why do I recommend one over the other, or at least what are some of the differences between the two lights. The first difference, of course, is going to be the difference in power. The 400 Pro has 400 watts of power and the 300 Pro has 300 watts of power. If you shoot in any sort of bright conditions, having more power is just going to be a much safer option. It's going to be much more beneficial to have more power and not need all of it than have less power and need more. But if you aren't going to shoot in any sort of bright conditions, super bright conditions, or if you shoot in bright conditions but use the light very, very close to the subject like I do, then 300 watts of power might be more than enough for you. 100 watts of power might not seem like a lot, and you might be fine with having just 300 watts of power, but having that extra power can actually be more beneficial than just having a stronger light. It can actually help in having faster recycle times or a longer battery life. And speaking of faster recycle times, that's actually the second thing that I wanted to talk about. The 400 Pro offers 1 second recycle time, while the 300 Pro offers 1.5 seconds. So in case that's something that's really important to you, then you might want to consider getting the 400 Pro, that's 1 second again, over the 300 Pro, which is 1.5 seconds. There's also a difference in terms of battery life. The 400 Pro offers 390 full powered shots, and the 300 Pro offers 300 full powered shots. If you don't intend to shoot more than 300 full powered shots on the 300 Pro, then that light will be totally fine for you. But if you want that extra leniency in terms of battery life with the 400 Pro, especially if you don't use full power all the time, then you'll get maybe 2 to 3 different photo shoots with the 400 Pro on a single charge. It's important to note though that the Godox AD300 Pro can actually use the Godox AD200's battery, so in case you already have a Godox AD200, you pretty much already have a spare battery for the 300 Pro. The last thing I want to mention about battery life is that the 400 Pro actually has an AC adapter option, so you can use that light continuously throughout the whole day if you need to, while the 300 Pro doesn't have that option, so you're going to have to rely on the battery life of the 300 Pro, but the 400 Pro has that AC adapter option. One other difference, of course, is going to be the size of the lights. I actually have both of the lights right here with their light stand attachments on them, so you guys can see how different the size is of these lights. I much prefer having the 300 Pro because it gives me exactly what I want in terms of power and recycle time and everything else, especially having a smaller size compared to the 400 Pro, which was actually my previous favorite light until this one came out. What you're seeing right now is the same lights, but without those light stand attachments. So they're a little bit closer in size since the light stand attachments to the 400 Pro is kind of bigger than the smaller one of the 300, but they're still very different in size, and I still prefer the 300 Pro. Aside from the difference in size, there's also, of course, a difference in weight. The 400 Pro is going to be about 4.6 pounds, and the 300 Pro is going to be about 3 pounds. I actually carried 2 Godox AD300 Pros in my Godox camera bag, and they fit perfectly inside there. If I had my Godox AD400 Pros in those bags, 2 of them, then it would just be kind of chaotic in there, and also it would be a lot more heavier. It'd be 3.2 pounds heavier than I'm using with the 300 Pro. I really like that my 300 Pros are smaller because it allows me to have more space in my bag for other things like batteries, for aerosol in case I want to get more creative, and just other random things, and more space for other things that are not my lights. If you're someone that uses an assistant at your photo shoots, then they might appreciate you getting the lighter 300 Pro over the 400 Pro. But if you just have a stronger light assistant, or if you're going to have your light on a light stand, then you might want to get the 400 Pro. When it comes to the mounting lamps on these lights, the 400 Pro offers a 30 watt 4800 Kelvin lamp, while the 300 Pro offers a 12 watt bicolor temperature LED lamp that can be adjusted from 3000 Kelvin to 6000 Kelvin. Having used the mounting lamps on both of these lights at night to take outdoor portraits, I can tell you that the 12 watts on the 300 Pro wasn't enough for me, but I definitely did have enough power with the 30 watts on the 400 Pro. Having the ability to change the color temperature on the 300 Pro was actually really nice to have, but since I double diffused my lights, which really weakens the light, having 12 watts of power was just too little for me. But in case you're going to use single diffusion or no diffusion at all, or take pictures of something very small like a wedding ring at a wedding, then the 300 Pro might be perfect for you. The very last thing I want to mention is the fact that the Godox AD400 Pro comes with a Bowens mount adapter in the box, while the Godox AD300 Pro doesn't. There is a Bowens mount adapter for the 300 Pro, but you're just going to have to buy it separately, while the free one comes with the 400 Pro. However, if you're someone like myself who wants to keep these lights as small as possible, then I would advise against using the Bowens mount adapters because you actually have to attach it to the lights, and it makes them a little bit bulkier because Bones Mount is bigger. And instead, I would suggest getting the updated S-type bracket, which allows you to use the 300 Pro, 400 Pro, and any other round head speed lights with Bones Mount modifiers. One last thing I almost forgot to mention is the price. At the time of making this video, these two lights again are on sale, but at normal price, the 400 Pro is going to be $650 and the 300 Pro is going to be $500. At normal price, I do recommend the 300 Pro over the 400 Pro a lot, because if you're like myself and you use the light very close to the subject, then 300 watts of power is pretty much all you need, and you don't need the extra benefits of having more power with the 400 Pro. But since these lights are on sale right now, or at least the time of making this video, having $200 off on the 400 Pro is just a way better deal. And again, you're getting more power and all those other benefits that I mentioned at a great discount. So I would recommend the 400 Pro over the 300 Pro while these lights are on sale. But if they're not on sale, then I recommend the 300 Pro over the 400 Pro. And that's pretty much all the differences I can think of that were really important between these two lights. In case I forgot anything else, or in case you have any other questions, let me know in the comment section below and I'll help you out as soon as possible. And in case you didn't already know, Godox and Flashpoint are the exact same products. It's just that Godox is the manufacturer of the lights, and then Flashpoint by Adorama just rebrands the lights to Flashpoint names. So Godox and Flashpoint will work together fine. In case you guys missed out on the deals that were available at the time of releasing this video and you want to know about future deals, then I highly recommend you join my Facebook lighting group called Learn to Light, an off-camera flash learning community, because I post a lot of deals in there whenever they happen, and I do my best to share them with you guys as soon as possible. If you need any help at all with recommendations on any gear, then again, let me know in the comment section below and I'll help you out as soon as I can. That's pretty much it for this video. I hope you learned something. I hope you guys took advantage of the deals, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.